Hello everyone and welcome to the Idris Diaries. Before I get into my review of the 50th anniversary special, The Day of the Doctor, I just, really want to say, and I can't say this enough, how thankful and grateful I am to everyone who gave me their well wishes and their thoughts and prayers and everything for my father. Um, as many of you know, last week on Monday he went through some major heart surgery, and he came home yesterday. And I just want to say thank you to all of you for your support and everything like that. And that's the reason why I haven't been on all last week. Just checking in with my phone, but not really doing much on my PC. So instead of waiting until the week, I really wanted to get into my review and my opinion of The Day of the Doctor. So if for some reason you haven't watched it yet, I'm going to give some spoilers. Not everything, not step by step of everything that happened, but like some major points that I wanted to discuss. So first of all, let me just say Day of the Doctor was totally fantastic. I loved every little moment of it. I thought it was the best show Moffat ever did. I mean, it was epic in a lot of ways. I loved the beginning, where, we all know about like Matt hanging from the TARDIS and stuff, but it like started right off with that, and, then all the credits are rolling. So it was, very like, epic, like movie epic, like you would see, in the theaters. And, of course it is showing up in the movie theaters. There was, in the United States, there was 11 movie theaters that aired it, and then tomorrow, all the other movie theaters that are showing it will be airing it at 7:30, and then again at 10. And I'm going to be going to see it. So I don't know, maybe Moffat did it that way, knowing that it was going to be on the big screen, so he like made it like a movie. I mean, it was just so fantastic. I loved it. And Moffat, thank you. I know we've been doubting you, and I've been doubting you on and off for a while, but you really did an awesome job for, all Whovians, really. Those of us that aren't really into the classics, it was something that we can really enjoy. And those older fans, or fans that have always loved the classics, got a great nod, especially at the end when Tom Baker showed up. I'll like chat about that a little bit later, but first, I loved the idea that Rose Tyler was not in it. I was like so psyched when I realized what Billie Piper's character was all about. I was so ecstatic. I was like, yeah, Rose Tyler isn't in it. Woo, and Billie Piper, she really did a great job. I mean, she really showed she can act. I would love to see her in some kind of, like a Halloween movie where she's some kind of like demon or something like that, because she really did an awesome job. Basically what we learned is the moment. We know from End of Time that the moment was the device that the Doctor used to destroy Gallifrey and the Daleks. Well, you learned that the moment was a weapon of mass destruction, also called the Galaxy Eater, that the ancient Time Lords came up with. And I also thought that was interesting too, because they talk about the ancient Time Lords. So you got the impression that when the Time Lords became Time Lords, they were probably very like barbaric and really into like conquering and stuff like that. And the idea that they would build such weapons, gives you an idea that not so long ago they, whatever, a long time ago, they were like kind of like us, had a violent streak. So you also learn that the moment, it's a Galaxy Eater, but it also became sentient, meaning that, it had a mind of its own. And it also had a conscience. And what it would do is, the reason why the Time Lords never used it is because the conscience of the moment would basically be judge, jury, and executioner of the person who used it. And that's what happened. That's what we learned happened with the doctor. Okay, we all know from The Night of the Doctor, the minisode, that Paul McCann's doctor, the eighth doctor, died. And the Sisterhood of Karn ended up bringing him back just long enough so they can force a regeneration. And that regeneration became the Dr. John Hurt played. We also found out that he essentially is the Ninth Doctor. It's just that what happened is, basically, Matt Smith's doctor, the 11th Doctor, chose to forget. So, and you know what? I always kind of thought this. I was always thinking of it from day one, because it always was the doctor lies, the doctor lies, the doctor lies. From the very first season with Matt Smith, we always learned that. We always knew that the doctor lies. And they always made it a point during season, 5, 6, and 7. 11, 11, 11. So if the doctor lies all the time, and he's constantly saying 11 or making reference to being the 11th Doctor, I was actually guessing that he really wouldn't be, the 11th Doctor, and he's the 12th. And the BBC did update that picture that floated around, the promo picture with all 11 doctors, and they added John Hurt's in there. So, unless somebody is going to say something otherwise from the BBC, my opinion and my feeling going forward is, Christopher Eccleston was the 10th, David Tennant was the 11th, and, Matt was the 12th. And basically, with David Tennant, he never really said, yes, I am 10. I don't believe he did. He said with Sarah Jane that time, oh, I regenerated about a half a dozen times. He said about, so that's not an exact number. And the Conscience did say, played by Billy Piper in the moment, did say the 10th Doctor, or David Tennant's doctor, was the one who regretted, and Matt Smith's doctor was the one who forgot, chose to forget. So what happened is you have John Hurt's doctor, and he's the one who is going to end the Time War. He is going to be the one who was going to use the moment, the weapon of mass destruction, to destroy Gallifrey. But what the moment did is they said, okay, if you're going to use it, your punishment is going to be that you live. And that is going to be your punishment, that you're going to carry on and live and not die. But the moment, played by Billy Piper, also showed him what he became. If he goes ahead and uses the moment, he becomes the doctors of David Tennant and Matt Smith, the one who was all regretful and, stuff like that, and the one who just chooses not to deal with it and to forget and to lie about it. So I really thought that was awesome. Billy Piper did a magnificent job. Okay, the other thing I loved about it is the interaction between David Tennant, Matt Smith, and John Hurt. It was really cool. You had that little tug of war back and forth between Matt and David, and and also the funny little things with the screwdriver and the eyeglasses, and them doing the little things back and forth, like the looks on Matt's face when David kept getting kissed by Queen Elizabeth I and everything, and you knew that one was a Zygon and stuff like that, and then with the screwdrivers, of course Matt's is bigger than David's, and then 10 goes, or 11, whatever David says, compensating for much, it's like all that tongue-in-cheek stuff. But what I loved is when John Hurt, the doctor, got into the mix. He was just a real more down-to-earth, this is how it is. He also seemed to be a little bit more intelligent than the other doctors. Maybe it's because he didn't have that weight on his shoulder of destroying his own people, and he was able to see clearly. It's just that he seemed to be a little bit more brighter. I love that one scene when, Matt was like talking, and how he talks with his arms and everything, and John Hurt was like, do you always wail your arms around like that when you're talking? And Matt is like, yes, no, no, and he goes, yes, whatever. It was just all like hilarious. It was just very entertaining. Yeah, I just loved it. Now, as you go on, basically, they're fighting like the Zygons, and they're doing all this stuff, and the Zygons, I think, just set the stage for future stories with Peter Capaldi. I really think, I got the feeling that Unit is going to be in a little bit more often, not like they were with John Pertwee, but I think he's going to be, the Unit is going to be showing up a little bit more. The Zygons may show up a little bit more, or it might just like pave the way for like more treaties, because here the doctors left them in the vault, for this treaty thing. But I just thought that was interesting to like play up on it. It leaves the door open for future episodes with Peter. What else did I want? Basically, the end was really cool. I mean, you got like a real nice nod when everything's said and done. Basically, John Hurt decided, at first he thought he was going to push the red button, because, the red button formed in the moment, and he thought he was going to go ahead and do it. But then David and Matt showed up, and you got they said you don't have to do this alone. So all three of them was going to destroy Gallifrey. But then, they started thinking otherwise, and they started realizing that, that because he was the doctor and stuff like that, he didn't have to give up. And his promise that he made was based on never giving up and being vigilant and stuff like that. So, they basically came up with the idea of, freezing Gallifrey. That's the term they use, but basically like suspending them in time and like maybe an alternate reality. So that way everybody would live on Gallifrey. But when they did that and the planet disappeared and froze out of time, the Dalek army ended up killing each other in the crossfire, because here they're all surrounded Gallifrey, and then when they removed Gallifrey, they just kind of killed each other, and I guess ultimate act of friendly fire, I guess. So what was really cool is also you got the impression that there was on Gallifrey there was the High Command, which was the military, and then there was the High Council. So we knew from the end of time it was the High Council that was going about doing that thing where they were going to destroy time and ascend into consciousness as like beings without bodies. But it was the High Command, the military, that was like still trying to fight the war and protect Gallifrey and its people. So the Doctor was talking with the High Command, and they said, oh, only you three are going to be like doing this, or whatever they said. And then no, basically they said, no, we've been working on this a long time. And you see clips from all of the Doctors 1 through 9, and then there's David, Matt, and John Hurt, and you see clips getting the idea that all of them are working together, and you see like 12 different TARDISes. And then you hear the guy from High Command said, all 12 of you, and then all of a sudden you hear a voice say, no, 13. And then it's Peter Capaldi. And now you only see his eyes, like from here up. It's really awesome and intense, the look on his face. So it's like, I can't wait to see, is his character going to be like the ultimate badass or what? But, I mean, it was really awesome. Me and my cousin were like, And then, it was just really cool the way it ended. And then, basically the last like 3 minutes, Matt is like alone in this like vault, like museum type of thing that Unit has with the picture. That's central. It's going to be really cool. It's basically a picture of Gallifrey. But you think it's Gallifrey falling, but then Tom Baker shows up, and it's a really wonderful scene between Matt Smith and Tom Baker. Really classic. From what my cousin said, I really haven't seen too many shows with Tom Baker in it. But my cousin said that he really stayed the character, and it was just really, I really thought that was cool. That really did a nice nod to the to like the classic fans, and even like the newer fans, because now it's like, oh cool, he was the fourth Doctor, so all in all, I think it was great. I loved it. I loved every moment of it. I really can't see any conspiracies, or I tried thinking back on it, but if you really watch the show and just enjoy it, everything is spelled out. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Everything is pretty clear cut. And I'm not gonna like nitpick and like try to come up with all these alternate theories and the red herrings, because I really don't think there is. It was a very clear. The moment is a weapon of mass destruction. The consciousness was played by Billie Piper. The reason why Billie Piper was playing it is because the consciousness has the ability to scan the past, present, and future of the Doctor and pick the bad wolf character of, Rose Tyler. It could have been any character, but, it was Billie Piper. And Billie Piper was the first companion of the Ninth Doctor, which was when Doctor Who came back, and that's the companion that new fans of Doctor Who is going to relate to. So, plain and simple, it was just a very awesome show, and I'm going to be watching it. I watched it 2 times today. I watched it 2 times yesterday. I'm going to be seeing it in 3D tomorrow. I'll probably be watching it at least 2 or 3 times during the week, especially if my parents let me go watch it downstairs on the, big 50-inch TV, but I just loved it, and I hope everybody else enjoyed it, and, because it was just an awesome show. And, thank you, Moffat, thank you, Matt David, and, John Hurt, it was just awesome, and I loved it. So that's about it. I know I rambled on a little bit longer than I like to, but, I hope you all have a great night. I am going to be working on my movie review sometime this week on Ender's Game and Thor, so look out for that. And, I'll talk to you guys later. Have a great night.